Let's learn exactly what we need to install in order to get Minikube up and running. So here you can see that Minikube quickly sets up a local Kubernetes cluster on Mac OS, Linux, and Windows. So also you can find this link under the description of this video. So this is the official Minikube documentation. So here what I'm going to do is click on Get Started, and you can see that they say all you need is Docker. And if you're not familiar with Docker and want to learn more about Docker, on my website I've got this course right here, so Docker and Containers Essentials, and it's absolutely for free, and here you learn everything you need to know about Docker. So to install Docker, it's really straightforward. So in here, navigate to docker.com/get started, or if I go back to the main page right here, you can see that accelerate how you build, share, and run modern applications. So Docker is quite popular, and you should really understand and know how to use Docker. So here, let me just say get started. And then you can see that we have Docker Desktop. So Docker Desktop for Mac, Windows, and Linux. So go and install the one according to your operating system. So in my case, I'm on a Mac machine. So just download for Mac. And I'm going to save this in my desktop and just give it a minute or so. So while this is actually downloading, what I also want you to do is to basically sign up for Docker Hub. So in here, if I sign up, you can go and create an account that allows you to basically create repositories in here. So I already have my account, which is Amigos Code, but basically go ahead and create an account which allows you to pull your private images locally, and also allows you to push any Docker image that you build on your local machine. So go ahead and create an account, and I'm going to show you how to log in a second. But here you can see that I've got this image right here. So Kubernetes, so this is a repository. I can click on it, and in here I've got tags, and you can see that I've got 3 tags, so blue, green, and then hello world. So we're going to use these in a second. And if I go back for a second, I just want you to see, you can see the commands here, right? So Docker pull, and this is how you would basically pull this image to your local machine. And I'm going to show you this in a second. So the download has finished. So in my desktop, and in here, if I pretty much just double click on this DMG file, and for both Windows as well, so Windows and Linux, the installation process, it's very simple and similar. So here I'm going to drag it into applications. And again, just give it a minute or so, and we should be good to go. And there we go. So you can see that that was successful. So in here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to close this, and I also can delete this DMG file. And now let me go ahead and start Docker. So here I'm going to press Command and then space and search for Docker, and just give it a second, and then open. And in here you can see that Docker is starting. So if I click in here, you should see that Docker is starting. So just give it a minute or so, and this should start in a second. And in the meantime, if I click on dashboard, there we go. You can see that Docker engine is starting, and there we go. So you can see that Docker is running, and we even have this sample command in here, which I'm going to show you in a second. So remember before I said that with Docker, you can actually use the Kubernetes cluster that comes with Docker. So here, if you click on settings and then have a look, Kubernetes, and here we can actually enable Kubernetes. So I'm not going to do this because we're going to spin up a local cluster using Minikube. So let me just cancel out of this. And now what I want you to do is to open up your terminal or command line. And in here, let's type together Docker -- and then version. And this is the version that was installed. And there we go. You can see that Docker was successfully installed. So what I want to do here is, remember I said that you should be, so in here, so I said you should create an account, and you can basically create repositories, so on and so forth, right? So push images and pull images. So here, what I want to do first is say Docker and then log in, and then your username. So my one is Amigos Code, my password, and there we go, login succeeded. Now go back in here and take this command, so docker run -d and then -P 8080, and let's just paste this command here, and you can see that I'm able to find the image, and it's pulling the image, and there we go. So you see that worked. Now clear the screen, so I've just pressed Ctrl-L, docker ps. You can see that we have one container running, right? So this one created 9 seconds ago, and it's listening on port 80. So port 80 on your local machine is forward to 80 on the container, and you can see this is the name. So now if I open up my web browser, and here just type localhost and then press enter, and check this out. So this is working, right? And now we have successfully managed to install Docker. As I said, if you want to learn more about Docker, check my course on Docker, because I cover everything you need to know about Docker. But what I want to do here is the following. So we could either stop this from here, so we could delete or stop from here, or we can use the terminal command line. So let's use the command line. So docker and then stop, and I can get the container ID. There we go. And I can also say docker rm to remove the container which is stopped. So the same ID. There we go. Now if I go back, you can see that no container is running. And if I reload this page, you can see that this cannot be reached. So if you have any issues install Docker, go ahead and let me know. But this was really straightforward. Now that we have Docker installed, next let's install Minikube.